Morning, class. Following a successful first edition, the 2014 Celsea Community Cup was launched at the Springbok Experience Museum at the V&A waterfront.
We had a lot of clubs closing down left, right and centre, and we needed something to provide to those clubs, and some kind of an aspirational platform, and that's what the Community Cup does.
There's a lot of talent in the club communities, and all around the country, all the clubs, you can find exceptional players. So looking more at the clubs and looking at the club rugby system, I think this and the previous club champs is definitely a barrier that we need to lift up and to get our players out there.
You've got crowds coming to games which there wasn't previously. You know, you've got 5,000-6,000 people coming to a local derby, which normally would have been 500 or 1,000 people. And I think it will keep on growing as it becomes more important for everybody in terms of their own communities. A community, obviously, a lot more important than just a game that's on the pitch. You know, we're keeping kids away from the streets, we're keeping kids away from drugs and everything that's bad, you know, and trying to get them into the community and into a sporting environment.
It's a lovely opportunity for us as players. We're a young side. We come from a community where we know the poverty is there, the circumstances, stuff there. So this community cup means a lot to us as players and also as the whole community. Not only representing the club of Roses, we're not only representing the Boland Rugby Union, but we're representing the whole community of Wellington and also Paul in the whole Boland area.
Defending champions Gap Management Dispatch were awarded the honour of a live SuperSport broadcast when they hosted local rival Spring Rose on opening day.
Now, you're sitting with a squad of 40, 50 players who wants to play Community Cup. It's a tremendous experience for them, that's something to play again for them.
The plan is just to stick to the plan. You'll see the plan on the field. We prepared very well for Dispatch, and Dispatch, we're not away, we are home. We are also home here in Dispatch.
It's always difficult to play a team like Spring Rose. You never know what to expect. They can beat any team on a day if they switch on, but our preparation was good.
We're used to the winter and we'll work around it or play around it and, you know, make sure we dominate the breakdown with points and the basic line-out scrums and, you know, play to the ball.
Demand. This time he's poked it over, and there is the opening score of the game. So the home side Dispatch leading Spring Rose by 3 points to 0.
The visitors were holding their own until ace Nogampula's huge tackle on Langa Tsotsobe led to the first try.
Oh, he thought there was a man on his shoulder, and there was, but it was a man with a black and white jersey. Here's an opportunity, and the try has been scored. It will, I'm sure, go upstairs, but Yaku Becker, I think, has got a good try for Dispatch there. He's always had a very simple kicking method, and it works.
Very tough conditions. They're difficult. They came out firing. It's okay for a better second half. This first half was a bit scrappy for both of us.
Allemaal niet kunnen tackelen, ons willen effectieve tackelen, ons willen terugzetten.
Dispatch had the match in firm control at 13-0, and captain Lubabalo Umpungoshe's 2 yellow cards spelt the end for Spring Rose.
Eventually it's Ranier Erasmus who digs it out. Now they've got an extra man out wide, and that's a try on the right wing for Billy Mintor, who caps what's been a very good game for him.
We gave away our chances because we dominated the lineouts, and our scrum was also our scrum, and on set pieces we also dominated. The main thing that we gave away is those 2 tries and too many penalties.
We'll take the win. There's a couple of things that we must work on next week before the next game, but you know, it's things that we can rectify.
From Dispatch, we moved down to Mossel Bay, while Bridgeton made the short trip from Oudtshoorn for the other Pool A encounter. It was a beautiful sunny day in the Western Cape seaside town, and the Dalmeida Stadium was packed with 3,000 passionate club rugby supporters.
I think our guys is on a 105% fitness level. Our preparation went well, and I think they will play all 80 minutes today.
Paas naweek wil ons weer dring na die top 8 en ons wil op in die Koppark speel. So ons doel is om groot te gaan. Ons dink net aan te eindig in die top 8 en dan net op in die Koppark miskien 'n semis of 'n final. Ons groot aim is om te gaan vir die kompetisie.
The Barbarians were seeking revenge for the last-minute loss to their fierce rivals in the Southwestern District's Premier League final last year. The local side didn't waste any time and got the stadium rocking as early as the 6th minute, when tight prop Alviso Erasmus charged towards the line and then stretched out for the opener. Another prop named Erasmus did likewise for the opposition. Keeping it amongst the big men, Bridgeton moved to within inches of the in-goal area before loosehead Enzo picked up from the ruck and fell over to level the scores in the 12th minute. Adrian Boyson would miss his 3rd kick, but following a collapsed scrum, he made up for that with a 50-metre bomb in the 17th to boot his team into an 8-5 lead. The SVD champs would hold on to their slim advantage until the 33rd, but slick handling inside their own half from the Barbars backline released left winger Logan Hendricks, who didn't need a second invitation to display his searing pace. Mornay Bay slotted a penalty on the stroke of half-time after Rapido Plaatjes was yellow-carded for a 13-8 lead.
As ons daar kom en ons op 'n besluit te reël dat ons gaan doen nou, né? Ons moet weet wat ek kan van die veld om te skop. Hy gaan nie nou weer kan ons waar.
Immediately after the break, Mossel Bay would take advantage of the extra man when a solid scrum gave base the time and space to send fullback Wyland Anthony over untouched. The scrum half tapped over the conversion and stretched the lead to 28. The return of Plaatjes and a double substitution sparked Bridgeton back to life. After spurning 8 points from the tee, Boyson added 5 to give the visitors hope and reduce the deficit to 7. He would, however, miss his 4th of the afternoon to bring an end to Bridgeton's scoring for the day. 2 minutes after replacing outside centre Anwar Phyllis, Yaku Aronsa scored Mossel Bay's bonus point try, which could be vital when all is said and done. Base did convert to all but seal the result at 27-13. To add insult to injury, right winger Jerome Philly scored the 5th and final try for the Barbarians in the 72nd minute to complete an impressive 32-13 victory and exact that revenge they so dearly sought. The wildcards showing why they so richly deserve their spot in this year's competition and take an early 1-point lead over Dispatch at the top of the pool.
Het was maar weer eens 'n moeilike stryd teen Bridgeton. Hulle is goeie opponente. Ek dink die wind het 'n groot faktor vandag gespeel, maar ons is bly oor die wen. Ek dink ons kan nou verder gaan net aan die foute gaan werk.
Die voorbereiding sal maandag definitief klipbaar wees. Daar sal harde woorde wees. Maar soos ek sê, ons moet die game vat as 'n stumbling block en elke game dan net vat soos hy kom.
We pack our bags for the Boerlands as G5 Metal's Brackpan travelled approximately 1,400 kilometres for a return fixture against Roses United in picturesque Wellington. Last year, the East Rand club trampled Roses 87-29 and were the overwhelming favourites after securing the bronze medal in George. True to form, it was the visiting team who struck first. Flanker Vickers van der Berg, who scored 7 tries in the 2013 tournament, benefiting from an efficient line-out and maul. Guido Horn added the extra 2, 7-0 after 13 minutes. Noan Libber kicked a penalty for Roses. However, after Theo Maynard and Jacques Nievenaerts fell agonizingly short, Jaco Lotte dived over next to the left-hand upright. It was an easy conversion for Horn as Brackpan took a 14-3 lead. Needing some luck and inspiration, both were delivered with the half drawing to a close. Tian Ramat pounced at the back of a line-out and passed to Thurlow Marsh, who in turn moved it outside to Calvin Fixter. The hooker delivered it back inside to Stephanus Wessels, who popped it from the deck to Ramat to complete what he had started. Brackpan scored a third. However, the home side were not done yet as they managed to further reduce the deficit before the break. Marsh's superb pass giving Cheney Willemse a clear 40-meter run to the line. Libber converted down 15-9. The defining moment came in the dying stages. A pinpoint kick from Ryan Julies left the Brackpan defenders at the mercy of the oval-shaped ball as Garrett Cilliers sealed a heart-stopping 27-26 bonus point victory in front of an ecstatic home crowd. An unbelievable turnaround in fortunes for the Bolanders, while Brackpan went home with 2 Pool C long points.
Obviously it's not nice to lose, but at least we got 2 bonus points out of the thing. So from there on we'll have to work and just put a little bit more pressure on us. We can't afford to lose another game.
What a wonderful fight back from my guys. I said in the beginning, we said it in the cloakroom, we believe we can do it, and we did it. We showed commitment on the field and also off the field. There's a few things that we need to work on, and we take it step by step. Our first hurdle is over, so we have to focus next week when we travel, so then we take the second hurdle.
Bloemfontein Crusaders were wildcards in 2013 but qualified by right for this season's competition, while Noordelikes were back representing the Lions. Randwiese Sports Ground hosting this Pool B encounter. Gerard Scholz's interception and run in the 3rd minute handed Jesse Geyer a 5-pointer on a platter. After missing the conversion, Henrik Oosthuizen was successful with a penalty a few minutes later. Deon Tolliard finally found his range for Crusaders 8-3 at the break. In the 45th, it was Geyer who turned provider to fullback Chanley Williams, who showed the ball to his right wing and then glided through the gap. Oosthuizen hit the upright with the conversion attempt, 13-3. The Free Staters would then stage a spirited fightback. A try from Griffin Colby and 3 penalties would give the visitors a 1-point lead with 4 minutes to play. However, in the next movement, Oosthuizen was handed the opportunity to steal the win. He duly did so in fine style to secure a nail-biting 19-17 victory, while Crusaders went back to Bloem with a bonus point and the respect of the West Rand club.
Very happy that we ended up with the win. Missed a couple of penalties and conversions, but it would have given us a better lead, and then we can stop panicking and instill our game plan.
I'm quite happy with the performance the guys gave in the second half. In the first half, we kind of strangled ourselves for all 40 minutes, but in the end, it was character that came through.
Off to the northwest we go, where Veng Wilman Sishen travelled more than 500 kilometres from the Northern Cape to take on Rustenburg Impala. The visitors endured a tough first year, but with Boete Wessels at the helm, they were confident of a competitive showing in 2014, and they took an early lead through the boot of Andries Bloem. Lars Olivier levelled matters before he dummied, sliced through the defence and popped back inside to send replacement loose forward Leon Du Plessis over in the 24th minute. The conversion was a formality, 10-3. Not long thereafter, Bertie Visser scored one of the best individual tries of week 1. Cutting back inside, he shrugged off numerous tackles, and then after being brought down a metre short, had the presence of mind to place the ball and regather to go over for his first of the afternoon. Olivier converted 17-3 after 27 minutes. Hughes Edwards' Chargers seemed to have taken a vice grip on the contest when, following a line-out and maul, flanker Victor Joubert found his way to the corner. On the stroke of half-time, Stevie Meyer dotted down for Sishen, which reduced the deficit to 12 points. It didn't take long for Rustenburg to reassert themselves. Visser trotted over for his second and the bonus point before Olivier converted. The result now in no doubt. 29-17 the final score, following Meyer's second in the dying moments as the home side topped Pool D.
We're happy we got 4 tries and we can walk away with 5 points out of this game, and that's obviously really important to us. But overall, I think we've got a lot of work to do that we have to do within a week.
Both teams played well. I think Impala deserved to win at the end. But I'm proud of my guys. They came back at the end and they showed guts.
I'd just like to thank Celsius also for the opportunity again, and it's very nice. Thanks.
From mining country to the Lowveld, where Westbank had travelled more than 1,500 kilometres from the Western Cape to Mpumalanga, where the Pumas champions were lying in wait. Both sides determined to get their inaugural campaigns underway with victory in Pool D. It was the Wildcards from Boerland who would strike first. Johannes Slabber's chip collected and touched down by Salmon Kutsia in the 5th minute. Shumba Feros would however hit back in the 18th. Tommy Collin was unable to gather Izan Green's pass initially, but the ball somehow found its way back to him. Trailing by 2, Westbank produced a superb attacking effort. After receiving a pass from Theodore Marinas, Dashton Williams' neat grubber found his halfback partner who switched the ball back inside for Nadia Solomons, back in the lead 10-7. Shortly thereafter, Dewald Peters would level matters from the tee, but Salman Kutsia scored his second, following an 8-9 move from the back of a scrum, 15-10 at the break. The visitors' lead didn't last long. In the 48th, left winger Pule Sabia galloped from inside his own half, brushing off would-be tacklers at will to place the ball behind the posts. The safe boot of Peters, which would be the difference on the day, added the extra 2, as well as 2 more penalties to give Feros a 23-15 lead after 52 minutes. The fullback added his 4th penalty of the afternoon before he sent Sabia away for his 2nd try to wrap up the contest at 33-15 with 8 minutes to play. The conversion would give Peters a personal haul of 18 points, which is leading the point scoring stats after week 1. Velman scored a bonus point try for Westbank, but they would go down by 13 points.
We should have just stuck to our first half game plan, but our main concern was our defense was shocking. You can't allow on this level a guy to run through your arms, not tackling. You put them immediately put them on the front foot, and then you have to play catch-up rugby.
First 20 minutes they played the 8-9 and we weren't fast enough to react, especially on the blindside defence. So that's the only thing we tweaked at half-time. And we asked our forwards to just play a little bit more together. The field is wet and we knew if we can keep them inside, it will come off for us.
Back to the coast we go in Pool B as ECAR Welkom travelled to Durban for a tough assignment on Kings Park 3. Johnson College Rovers showcased in no uncertain terms that they are in it to win it, as they demolished the men from Northern Free State 85-0.
There's a couple of top names and top players that haven't played rugby for a while, and it's important for them to get some confidence going again. John Ginokwe, Dusty, some really good players that have added real value to us, not only on the field today, but also at practice time. It's vital. Those guys have got the experience, and they need to bring that to the lesser experienced youngsters. So I'm very happy with that too.
To the far north we go, where Wildcards Kaufela Boxburg had made their way to Polokwane. Noordelikes failed to win a match last year and were hoping for a better showing this season. The match was played in torrential conditions as the country was experiencing record rainfall. Wayne Havenga splashed down in the 17th minute to signal a tough day for the home side. Ashley Buckler converted to go with his 2 earlier penalties. The Falca runners-up led 23-8 at half-time thanks to Ashwell Adams' effort. Juan Bester then made that 28 after dotting down from a maul. Carl Vermeulen secured the bonus point in the 65th minute. Buckler produced a superb display of wet weather kicking to stretch the lead to 35-8. More good handling despite the conditions from Vian Engelbrecht and Buckler sent Fabi Erasmus through the gap to slide over for the 5th, before Noordelikes Ricardo Varela added a late consolation. 42-13 the final score as Boxburg went ahead of Roses in Pool D on points difference.
Yeah, look, it was a tough game, and all the credit to Boxburg and the captain and the team. They brought it to us. The weather played a bit of influence. We're not used to rain down here in the Polokwane, but yeah, we made a couple of mistakes. Not how we like to play the game.
Yeah, no, very tough conditions. Yeah, our forward back played exceptionally well today. Like I said, tough conditions. The driving was exceptional. We scrummed right, so the set pieces were really great. Tough conditions for our backline. Our scrums our backline, so in the wet conditions were a bit tough for them to run with the ball. So credit to the forward pack, they really played well.
Yeah, it was difficult in the rain, but I must say the guys made a huge step up.
We kept it simple with the forwards, did a lot of mauling, and it paid off. I think we scored 3 maul tries, and all the stuff was forward hard work.
There were comfortable wins for Mossel Bay, Rustenburg, Dispatch and Rovers, while Rose's surprise victory was the talking point of Week 1. Boxburg's away victory was the only one of the round. Pool A sees the Barbarians leading the way by 1 point over Dispatch, while Spring Rose and Bridgeton will need to spring a few surprises to end in the top 2. College Rovers plus 85 points difference will stand them in good stead going forward in Pool B. Rustenburg on second place, while Crusaders left Gauteng with 1 point. Pool C seems to be shaping as the most competitive, with Blue Bulls rep Centurion yet to play, and Brackpan sure to still have a say. For now, Boxburg and Roses are sitting pretty. In Pool D, Rustenburg Impala won clear of Ferros, while Westbank took a deserved losing bonus point back to the Cape.
Well, the South Sea Community Cup is essentially the old national club championships that has been reloaded. Just a few years ago, club rugby was on its knees. There was no sponsorship, there was no TV coverage, there was little interest, and also the quality of the play wasn't very high. And now suddenly things have changed. I think people are gravitating back towards the clubs, and that's resulted in an opportunity for us to rebrand the old club championships in a new format. A World Cup style format that takes in 20 teams in 4 pools, so everybody knows the format, everyone's very familiar with it, and we were able to land a great sponsor in South Sea to make it happen.
The base of South African rugby has always been deemed as schools, and the next level would be club rugby. Club rugby is very important. You got your Varsity Cup, and then you got all of the other guys. They got to play somewhere, and they form the base of what is called community rugby, and that's club rugby.
The 20 teams are made up of the 14 provincial champions, or the best open clubs, non-university clubs in each of the 14 provinces, plus Limpopo, and then 5 teams are what we call wildcard teams, who are invited. And they come from the ranks of the second best open clubs from the provinces. From the end of this season, we're going to replace the wildcard system with playoffs.
Provinces love it. I mean, they love to see their clubs perform. Each and every one of those executive members and members of those unions come from a club, and they've got their roots in the clubs, and they're all obviously vying for their own club to reach the final. But in the end, they want club rugby to be strong, because that's part of the base of South African rugby.
Wherever you go around the country, whether it's Wellington or Worcester or New Brighton, where Spring Rose come from, you name it, Welkom, from north to south, east to west, the rugby club is once again becoming that central hub in the community, and for many communities around the country, the rugby club is their only source of enjoyment, their only source of pleasure after a long day's work or a long week's work, and it's wonderful to see how these clubs, these players, these unheralded players that most of us will never hear of again, how they are treated as heroes in their local towns and villages. And now what the Community Cup is doing is it's giving a chance for these guys to shine.
Kempston Old Selbornians get their campaign underway in Week 2 at New Brighton to complete a pool consisting of clubs exclusively from the Kings franchise region, while in Pool B, eagle-towing Rovers stay in the Free State for their first match. Newcomers Refresh Centurion start their Community Cup journey at home to Noordelikes, while Boxburg and Roses fight it out for the Pool C summit. The oldest club in South Africa, Hamiltons, host Sishen in Pool D. All matches kick off on Saturday afternoon, so go down to your local club and support South African rugby's working class heroes. For the latest Community Cup results, fixtures, logs and stats, visit sarugby.co.za and follow us on Twitter at SA Club Rugby. Morning, class.
War